Hey there, Star Wars fans. Welcome to the CollectorMania YouTube channel. Today we're going to paint Luke Skywalker. If you need to pause, hit space, back and forward, the right and left arrow keys. Here's our Citadel Paints and Vallejo paints. First thing we're going to do, just 2 thin coats of Corax White Spray, just to get Luke kind of an even coat the whole way through. Next we're going to do 2 thin coats of the Cadian Fleshtone to the neck, face, and hands. Thin coats are going to be important here just to keep detail, make sure we don't lose any detail in kind of glompy layers of, paint, especially around the face. It can really stand out there and kind of ruin the mini. Don't worry about being too messy, we'll clean it up later. Next we've got Reikland Fleshshade into pretty much everywhere we just painted. Just kind of sopping it in there. If you put too much on, you can take a dry brush or a clean brush and just kind of wick it away from the areas you don't want too much wash to be on. Next, a thin coat of Baneblade Brown on the trousers. Really what we're going for here is just, again, thin coats so we don't lose any detail. The darker color may not cover up the white very well, so we may need to do a second coat just to get that full coverage. And again, don't worry about the ammo pouches or boots, we'll clean those up later. Next, for dry brushing Luke's face, get kind of a stiff brush there, swirl off the excess paint, and we're going to use kind of a choppy, kind of swirly dry brushing motion just to kind of highlight Luke's features. The flesh shade will stay in recessed areas and kind of shade the face and hands. Going to do a second dry brush of 2:1 Cadian Fleshtone Ceramite White just to kind of lighten things up. You can see the difference there on the paper towel, and again just the highest features of the face and hands. I lost my second Baneblade Brown coat. Here you can see it there. Next we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. Dry brushing, of course, and layer painting can be a little messy. Using white just to reestablish that bright area that we want for Luke's jacket. You'll also see it later on the lightsaber as well. Moving on to the jacket, a first thin coat of Karak Stone, kind of going for a Cloud City Luke look. So just a little bit lighter and kind of a different tone than the pants. Just again, 2 thin coats here. You'll also see I might flip Luke upside down just to kind of get better angles here or there. Just want to get kind of everything. Next, saddle brown on Luke's boots. This is a Vallejo color. I really like the color. One thing you can do, since we have painted the pants and we don't want to redo work, just kind of set the brush up to where it should be and kind of nudge it into like the crevice between the 2 blocks just to establish that line. A second layer of the Karak Stone on Luke's jacket, just again to kind of establish a nice even color here. Here we've moved on to Luke's ammo pouches. We're using Vallejo Leather Brown. Just kind of using, again, the edge of our brush to establish those lines between our other blocks, using the point of the brush to establish those corners and just kind of pulling down. You don't have to carefully paint with the tip, you can paint with the side of your brush as well. It's a good way to go through it. Pretty much waist down we're going to do a wash of Agrax Earthshade, just kind of sloshing it all over, boots, pants, and ammo belt. Again, if it pools too much, use a dry or clean brush to kind of wick some of it out of the areas where you've got too much wash. We're going to do a jacket wash of 1:1 Seraphim Sepia and Lahmian Medium from Games Workshop. Just kind of a lighter wash here. We want kind of a brighter look to the shirt, the jacket, I guess, but we still wanted to find those pleats. Next, we're blocking in Luke's hair with Ushabti bone. 2 thin coats, just so we don't accidentally cover anything up. Be careful of his ears. Sorry about my head being in the way. Yeah, we don't want to touch the face if we can help it, and we don't want to kind of lose any detail as well. You'll see here in a minute. We want our shade to sit nicely and a dry brush to look good as well. Next, a layer of Baneblade Brown to the pants. We're kind of returning to that middle tone. What we're trying to do is follow any like creases or pleats or ripples in the fabric that would stand out. The easy way to think about this, anywhere you don't see a whole lot of wash, just kind of return it. You want to leave the dark areas the way they are. That's the idea of washing. We've established depth. We want to return back to the highlight and just bring back that original color. You wouldn't need a thin down layer or 2, probably just 1 thin down layer to kind of reestablish things. Next, we're going to wash Luke's hair with Seraphim Sepia. Again, being careful of the face because we've already finished that. Just trying to, again, reestablish the depth in the hair. Kind of jump the gun. Runefang Steel on the belt buckle. We'll be using Runefang Steel a little bit more here later for some details. We've got Basalt Grey on the blaster. Just a dark gray tone. We're going to use a wash here in a minute and then kind of a layer dry brush, I guess, just to kind of bring a metallic look to the blaster. You'll see me move the mini here in a sec. Anything that's white, if we've been careful, should kind of scream at us that it needs painting. So don't see white, you're in good shape. Next, we got the blaster wash for Nuln Oil Gloss. Just trying to kind of, elicit the illusion of something shiny using that gloss wash. Normally, you'd use a Nuln Oil, I'd say, but since we want that illusion of metal, we're going to use the gloss. Going to do Runefang Steel on the pommel and hilt of the lightsaber. Being careful of Luke's flesh because that's pretty much done. Just kind of paint from all angles in a circle, essentially using more of the side of the brush than the tip. Back to the belt. At some point I forgot to film. We use a Nuln Oil Gloss wash on the silver of the lightsaber as well. Runefang Steel on the ammo pouch snaps and the kind of rivets of Luke's harness and stuff. Just a little bit of paint, not too dry, not too wet. You just kind of tap it onto that feature until you get a nice round circle. You also see kind of a quick dry brush on the blaster. We want to leave that gray and the black on there. So we're just kind of touching the highest features, the trigger, the scope, I guess, on the length of the barrel and the handle. Next we're going to touch up the ammo pouches with the original color again. Just sticking to those kind of harsh corners, I guess, of the ammo pouches and straps. Just to kind of bring out the details there. can see Luke. He's pretty well done here. Just 1 or 2 more steps. Sorry, it's off camera. We're doing a cleanup of the Ceramite White on the lightsaber. Any silver or say like flesh or like blonde color that we got on here, we kind of want to remove with a nice fresh coat of white. We're going to dry brush Luke's hair here with just a little touch of Ushabti bone. Again, kind of sticking to the higher up portions of Luke's head. There are some details you want to catch from the bottom as well, like his bangs. We're just trying to reestablish the highlight on Luke's hair. Next, re-highlighting the jacket using the Karak Stone. Similar to the pants, we're just looking for the most raised areas. A little bit more than you would for like an edge highlight. You'll see that in just a minute. Pretty much anywhere that the wash isn't, again, you want to kind of touch up with that middle tone. You can kind of see some of the central areas as well underneath Luke's elbows and stuff. Maybe not as important to highlight these since light isn't probably reaching as much. You'll see in a sec we'll do a higher highlight, and I didn't touch up those areas. We just want the most extreme uppermost parts to you know, be touched by that color. Here we've got that final highlight, the Ushabti bone. Again, just the most crinkled pleats of Luke's jacket, the collar, the shoulder pouches, that sort of thing. Just a little bit of highlight there. I felt that I kind of over dry brushed Luke's features, so a quick little spot wash of the Reikland Fleshshade in his eyes, nose, mouth, kind of the whole flesh area again, just to bring things out a little bit more. And lastly, Luke's lightsaber here using Temple Guard Blue. Just kind of thin layers here. I think I do 3 layers altogether. Kind of starting at the bottom if you think about painting a fingernail or something. Kind of long sweeping strokes with the brush if you can. And again, that cylindrical shape isn't really going to forgive brush strokes or gloopy paint. So thin paint helps here. You know, in a couple coats you'll have coverage. You just want a nice, like, laser sword looking even blue. Some other things I thought about, you could also maybe do some different looks to Luke. Like I said, wanted to kind of do the Cloud City Epic Duel Luke. You could also do the Luke after the Throne Room ceremony in episode 4, kind of yellow jacket, black pants. I think that'd be super cool. You could pretty much do anything. You could also do object source lighting or acrylic rods for the lightsabers. Just kind of a blue glow on Luke's, you know, head and arms and stuff. You could do it with Vader. Pretty much anything with that light source would be super, super sweet. Here you can see Luke is all finished. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, more on the way.